going to make lemon yogurt cake. And here's what you'll need. 1.5 cups of flour, 1 1/3 cups sugar, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, 3 eggs, 1 cup of plain yogurt, 1/2 cup of vegetable oil, a teaspoon of vanilla, a tablespoon of butter, 2 lemons, 1 cup of confectioner's sugar, a loaf pan, parchment paper, a 1/2 sheet pan with a cooling rack, a whisk, a rubber spatula, a microplaner, a sifter, a small saucepan, and finally 2 mixing bowls. And we're going to preheat the oven to 350 degrees. I've taken the loaf pan and buttered it all up, and I put parchment paper on the bottom. I'm going to also add flour and sprinkle that around. The parchment paper is on the bottom to obviously help release the cake when it's all done. Now we're going to take the flour and the baking powder and the salt, and we're going to put that through a sifter and put it into a mixing bowl. In another bowl, take the yogurt and get that all out, and the vanilla, the eggs, the 3 eggs, the 1 cup of sugar, and 2 teaspoons of lemon zest. Take your whisk and whisk that all together. Now we've got the 2 bowls with the dry ingredients and the wet ingredients. And we take the dry ingredients and we slowly add some in and whisk that around and do this some more until you're all done. Now we're almost ready to put it into the loaf pan. The last thing we're going to do is add the 1/2 cup of vegetable oil into the batter, and we fold that in with the rubber spatula and just keep mixing that till it's well mixed. Now I've incorporated all of the vegetable oil, and now I'm going to pour it into the loaf pan. Obviously that's all greased and ready to go, and I put that all in, and then I'm going to put it in the oven for about 50 minutes at 350 degrees. Now the cake is in the oven, and while it is cooking, we're going to prepare a sauce. And we're going to take 1/3 cup of lemon juice and 1/3 of white sugar, and we're going to heat that up until the sugar dissolves, and then when the cake comes out, we'll pour it over the top. The cake's been in the oven for about 50 minutes. I've tested it with a toothpick. I'm going to take it out, and I'm going to let it cool in the pan for about 10 minutes. Now I've let this cool for about 10 minutes. I'm going to take it out of the pan. You can see it released very nicely. The parchment paper actually stayed in the pan. And now I take the lemon and the sugar sauce that I made, and I'm just going to drizzle that on top and let that soak in. Now the cake is almost cool. We're going to make the glaze. So we have a cup of confectioner's sugar in the bowl. We're going to take 2 tablespoons of lemon juice and put that in, just a little bit more, and stir that around, and that'll produce the glaze. And as soon as that's cool, we're going to put the glaze on top. Now the glaze is all done, and we're just going to drizzle that right on top of the cake, and then it's ready to enjoy.